Hi everybody, welcome to Stampers Club. I'm Karen Trelfa, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a really nice, I don't want to call it romantic, just a nice heartfelt card. I'm going to be using the Soaring Swallows stamp set, which is in the January to June 2022 catalog. That just went live here shortly ago, and it's one of the sets that I really kind of had my eye on for a while. And I really kind of think it's it's a quiet set in there that you don't really notice it. So be sure to take a look at it if you haven't already. It's kind of a little bit of a sleeper set, so it's not something that you might be seeing a lot of, but I think eventually it's going to be out there because there's a lot of really cool ways that you can use it. It has a lot to offer. Let me show you what we have going on here. So it's the Soaring Swallows bundle. It has a stamp set, which is a two-step stamping. So if you stamp the outer one, you can get color by using the inside one. Or, of course, these nice little background pieces give you nice little elements, little eclectic type look. And then there's a set of dies. Now the dies, yes, it has dies to cut out the images here. That's, perfect. We were going to actually need that one, so I'm going to set it aside. But look at all the extra elements that it has. It has other birds, other bird dies, extra wings, bird bodies, these little tiny flowers, a nice cute little label, something that's a little bit different, and then just like accessory type dies, right? Like, so you have some accent type pieces. There's not actually a stamp set. So the die set, with the exception of these two birds, which would be great for like shadows, right? They're totally isolated. Like, this is a whole set just to do what you want with. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to need this one and this one out of there today. And I'll get the stamp set out too. All right. And then if you'd like to stamp along with me, these are the things that you need to gather. You're only going to need Memento Black or any black and Poppy Parade ink. So those are the only two inks, nice and simple. And then you're going to need some scrap Petal Pink, scrap Old Olive, scrap Basic White, a half a sheet of Poppy Parade. So this is cut at 8.5 by 5.5. A mounting layer of black, which is, I cut this one at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then a piece of the designer paper out of Heart and Home. Every single one of the pieces of designer paper in this package has this wood grain on the back, and they're different types of wood grains. Some of them are thin boards stacked up, some of them are horizontal, some of them are really kind of a little broader, plainer. So the whole entire pack is this wood grain, which is really kind of awesome, because I love wood grain paper. It just matches everything. But you have these very pretty subtle Heart and Home type styles on the other side. So that's another new designer paper. Actually kind of fun. So I'm going to set those aside. I won't need them yet. Oh, and then this is just a little piece of this iridescent. It's kind of hard to see. The glimmer doesn't quite catch. It's not glitter paper or glimmer paper. It's like an iridescent, opalescent type paper. It's really kind of cool. All right, so we need some die. We have some die cutting that we're going to do, and I'm also going to bring in the die set of Encircled in Beauty. This is in the annual catalog. This just has nice little elements for greetings and accent pieces, and I'm going to use this little one here. This one would work too, but I'm going to use this one. It's a little dressier. So I'm kind of bringing in another die set here, just for some accent pieces. And then let me get my little mini stamp and cut emboss machine. This comes with this cute little machine, and of course, this folds up. So it's a great little travel piece here. Fold those down, and it comes with a base plate, two clear plates, and it has an impression plate too for the narrow embossing folders. So right now I'm going to use these, and I'm going to use the base and a clear plate. And I'm going to start with this Encircled in Beauty one. I just need that. little piece there. Get that cut through. Now this machine definitely cuts very nicely. You don't really have to go back and forth. I'm going to on this one just so that it's back at me right now because I'm going to continue to use this machine. And look at that. It cut it out like almost all the pieces are out. Get rid of those extra little, it cut so much it actually cut them right into that. And then of course you could take your brush, your foam brush, and brush that. If I had the mat, it would work better. And those little tiny pieces, you may have to use a piercing tool to get those out of there. Because this is an intricate set, so there are lots of little circles. They're not sticking, they're little. And they're not perfect circles, they're all kind of, they have some different sides to them, so sometimes when you have stuff like that, it tends to stay in the shape too. But they're definitely not hard to pop out of there. Okay, so that's that one. And we're going to have the old olive piece. Ooh, my piece is a little bit big there. And then the spray of leaves. Get that one in there. Okay. Back around. And this just pops right off of there. It's like a little bit of a puzzle piece, so sometimes they catch on the paper. Don't want to tear it. All right, come on, unstick out of there. Can't get it to. There we go. It was like caught, and I didn't want to tear it. And I got one little guy here that's got to come out. Okay, that's that one. Then I'm going to need the flowers that I'm going to use on this little piece of iridescent paper. And we're just kind of gathering up all the pieces that we need here. Now this one, that one made a mess, didn't it? Got like little pink pieces of paper everywhere. This one, the little flowers are all individual. So see how well that it cut so well that they stayed right in the die. This paper's a little thicker too. And we got these little tiny holes to help push the paper out of there, whatever happens to stay in there. Oh, they're really, if I'd have gone back and forth, these things would have been permanently ingrained in the die. And I got them all. Okay. And then set that aside because we have a little bit of stamping to do. So see how we have this, all these little individual petals. Okay. Then we're going to use our scrap white, some Memento black or any black, and I'm getting the outline of the bird. Now when you two-step stamp, you can do that in either direction. And actually I'll get a scrap piece of paper and show you here in a minute. I'll leave that out. And then the Poppy Parade ink for the bolder image. And you're going to notice this looks like it's going to cover the whole thing, but you're only going to get the wings, a little bit of the body. And since this is a clear set, you can line it up right over the top. You could certainly use your Stamparatus too. This one's pretty bold, so it's pretty easy to just pop right over that. So let me get a scrap piece of white paper and show you what I'm talking about. Just get a scrap piece. If you wanted to stamp this, I got a fuzz around there. If you want to stamp this with the bold piece first, you could certainly do that. And then get the outline and stamp the outline over that. So the two steps can be done in either direction, whichever one is easier for you. Okay, for that. Better close this up before I wear more ink today than I care to admit that I've worn. All right. And then get my little stamp cut the machine back. And I need that bolder die right there. Now, if your dies are bouncing around because your plates are warped, which they're supposed to, and you should be flipping them constantly. If you find that your die, or you're worried about your die moving, or it's moving a lot, once you line it up, you could take a sticky note or a little piece of washi tape, and oh, my tails aren't quite right, and actually tape that down. And get that out. Okay. Get rid of that machine out of the way. Don't need those plates. And take my washi tape off. All right. So I want to take the wood grain paper. And ultimately, we're going to end up putting this right on here. But I want to get a little bit of added color. The card, once I got it done, was just a little too for me. So I wanted to add a little bit of color. So knowing that you're going to put it there, whoops, wrong stamp. Just make sure I clean that. I'm going to back with the Poppy Parade and just that little splatter. I'm just going to kind of put some splatters around and I'll put some up here too. Okay, I'm just adding some splatters. We'll add another one down here. Sure, why not? It's all good. Okay, gotta clean that stamp that I inked up. I grabbed the wrong one. It's gonna end up having the wrong color. Okay. All right. So your half a sheet of Poppy Parade. I'm gonna fold this in half. You could certainly score it at 4 1/4 if you prefer to have your scoring done first. And then, but I don't, I never do, only on the thick cardstock. And I'm going to use my bone folder and get myself a nice crisp edge there. I'm going to add that matting of black. And this I have as a narrow mat, so I only cut this off by a quarter of an inch. So I did a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 mat so that I just have a narrow. I didn't want too much of this poppy sticking out. And then I did the same narrow on this, so it's 4 inches instead of 4 1/8. So I only have this 1/8 inch border going on here. And I'm going to put that right down in the middle there. All right. So I'm going to use liquid glue for this because it's my favorite, actually. And we're just going to add a little bit. A little goes a long way on this stuff. It doesn't take much. Don't get like, huge goobers going here. You need just a small little bit of this glue. Get just a little bit on the stem down here. You can almost like brush it on. Like a dot is a lot on this. Okay, and this is now, if I can not wear the glue. And we're going to put this right over all of those splatters that we did. Okay. Just like that. If it's not 100% glued down, it's not a big deal. Cards with motion are good, right? All right, so now we're going to use some mini dimensionals, and we're going to get these little flowers. So they're ultimate, but I want them on dimensional, so I'm probably going to put one there. Get this little one, and it'll end up right here. Whoops, stuck to my finger. And now these two down here. I probably could put them between here, maybe. Put one there. Must have glue on the ends of my finger. I'll have one there. I'll put the smaller one down and the bigger one up. And ultimately, let's see. Yeah, I probably will put one there. So I'm just kind of doing the layout however wherever you want. They're not meant to be specific. You do have these little stem ends that kind of guide you on where they might be. But let's just get a dimensional on there. Oops. These minis are little. Okay, and this one's just going to go just like that. The dimensionals also help hold down the leaves if you felt like they were a little too loose on your card. And the next one I'm going to put right here. Get this one under here. They're tiny. I guess I could use tweezers too. That would also. This one has like a stem here and a stem here. So I'm just going to kind of bridge this over from one to the other. Kind of hides both of them. And I'm getting down to these little guys. So, oh, I got one here. That's not down. And that one, I'm going to get it between those two stems there. And my next ones are kind of tiny, so I'm going to take one of these dimensionals and I'm going to cut it in half so that they're even smaller. And put one on this little guy. And the other one on that little guy. There's two of these that are just like really tiny. So like I was saying, I think this set's a little bit of a sleeper in the catalog. I'm hoping to even do more cards with this. I've done a couple already. And every time I play with it, I just get this totally different look. It's like actually kind of fun to play with and create. Oh, I missed one. He must have went flying on me. All right, we're going to put that one right there. All right. So let's get that little Encircled in Beauty label that we cut out, and I am going to use Thinking of You. I'd love to send some of you cards. You're more than welcome to email me or private message me your information, and I'd be happy to pop a cute little card in the mail for you, little happy mail. So I'm just going to stamp. This is a clear set, so it's nice I can stamp right without knowing where I'm at. So I was able to die cut first and then stamp my greeting. If that had been a rubber set, I probably would have stamped first and then put the die over it, but I didn't need to. And let me get a couple more dimensionals. I think I only need probably 2 on this piece. Well, I better do 3 so it doesn't wiggle woggle around. Guess I could have used minis too, but this will make it so it's nice and secure. That's for sure. And I'm going to offset this just a little bit. Get it straight, hopefully. And pop it right there on dimensionals. And I'm going to take my little swallow and I'm going to double stack my dimensionals on here because I want a little bit more elevation on this card. I don't want everything to look like it's all like on one layer. I'm really big on dimensionals. So double stacking is you just put one and then take the paper backing off and put one right over the top of that so that it's double the thickness. And I'm going to get my little swallow, and he's going to fly right into that little label right there. And voila. Isn't that stunning? So I said, it's just this, it has this like little thoughtful, heartfelt, quiet, romantic little look to it. And those iridescent little flowers just really add a ton of depth to this card. So a little while ago, I had done this one with the same stamp set. I mean, look how different those are. 2 totally different looking cards, same exact bundle. This one primarily used the dies, and this one used both the dies and the stamps. So 2 totally different things that you can have come out like that. If you'd like to know where to find that in the catalog, it's in the mini catalog, the January through June 2022 catalog. And when you're in these catalogs, if you're not quite sure where this stuff is at, we have these very beautiful indexes in the backs of our catalogs. So you can look as a quick glance on where things are, tells you the price, the part number, and the page that you can find it on. And they also do the same thing with the dies. Now the dies are actually in alphabetical order so that you can actually, if you happen to know the name of it, you're able to find it. And this one was the Soaring Swallows, so we could find it over here. And it's on page 46. So when you look at that, you can see exactly what that bundle looks like. Okay, and you can see, and remember the bundles, when you buy the stamp set with the matching dies, they have a bundle price, so you save 10%. So that's actually pretty fun. This one's $50.25, so you would certainly qualify for a celebration if it's still celebration, or January and February of 2022 has some good freebies to go with it. Another thing on the catalog is they show you, it's our samples are great, right? I mean, they're great. They're great ways to give us ideas. I mean, it's this beautiful slimline card. I mean, great ideas on how to use that stuff. But there's also more samples back here. So here's the Soaring Swallows bundle. The back of the catalog shows all the new bundles. Anything that's available as a bundle is kind of all put in this little index. But look, you get another whole idea right here. So these catalogs are really more like idea books. They're really nice to have on hand. Don't ever toss them because they're always great. A quick tip for anything in the catalog: if you've purchased this set, and when the catalog retires, and if you don't want to store the whole catalog, tear out the page that has the item on it, so that when you go back to it, you have some more ideas like that. Okay, that's a good tip for that. And of course, I definitely enjoyed stamping with you today. Feel free to comment below. Go over to my website, www.stampersclub.com, and you could certainly search for Soaring Swallows and see other items that I've made with Soaring Swallows, get some other ideas. I'll definitely have this in its own post so that you can reference all of the supplies that I use, what color inks, what color papers, all of that fun stuff. So if you don't catch it here in the video, you can certainly go to my blog and find it there, and then it's all ready made for you too. That's always fun. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you get further updates on what's coming up and additional ideas and card making. And I do some scrapbooking and some 3D stuff too. So you're going to want to check some of those videos out too. You have a very stamp happy day, and I hope to see you again. Bye for now.